Good morning, guys. Excited to be with you this morning. Friday morning. How was your Valentine's Day? Mine was awesome. In any event, just dropped off the kids at school, and we've been talking a lot about the power of words this week, and the power of the written word, the words that we say to ourselves, the power of the words thank you, and the power of encouraging words. And so I wanted to speak a little bit more about encouraging words as we finish off sort of the mini-series, if you will, for the week. And I wanted to share with you, something I learned a number of years ago. I was fortunate that I got great mentorship and was taught by others as I was trying to sort of find my way in life, if you will, that when it comes to encouraging people, there's sort of a magic recipe that I'd like to teach you. And as soon as you learn this recipe, it's amazing the kind of impact that you can have on people's lives. A lot of times we can encourage others by saying, hey, great job, way to go, you're awesome, you're a stud, you're a champion. And those are all great things to do. Certainly any kind of encouragement is better than none. But we talked earlier in the week how most people don't have that strong of self-esteem, don't have that strong of self-confidence. Their identity, sort of the way that they see themselves isn't naturally that strong. Even people that, quite frankly, I've met a lot of successful people, a lot of people that make a lot of money, and sometimes it's surprising. We expect their level of self-esteem or their self-confidence or their self-image to be stronger than it is. And so a lot of times we try and compliment other people. We talked about this earlier in the week, and sometimes people just aren't ready to receive it. We tell them, great job, you're awesome, and they're just not really ready to receive it. So I want to teach you real quick some ideas that somebody taught me years ago that, a way to encourage people that is easier for them to receive. And here's what I want you to pay attention to. Each and every person that you know has God-given gifts, God-given talents, personality traits, things that are very, very, very unique to them. And you know what they are. I want you to think about your spouse for a moment. What are his or her unique God-given characteristics or personality traits that are just really special, that are really unique? As you think about your husband or wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend, what makes them so special? What are the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things that are really unique and special about them? Not necessarily just how they treat you, but what is it that's unique about them? Maybe they're really conscientious. Maybe they're really kind. Maybe they're really courageous. Maybe they have such a great positive disposition and attitude about themselves. Maybe they're really disciplined. Whatever it is, you know what it is. Think about this with your kids. What are the 3 or 4 or 5 characteristics that make your children unique? I can tell you about each one. I can tell you about my oldest son, Alex, my daughter, Lexi, my youngest son, Jack. I can go on and on about their specific, unique, God-given gifts and abilities. Not just like, oh, they're nice. Be more specific than that. There's the old saying, to be terrific, you need to be specific. So be specific. What is it about your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend? What is it about your children? What is it about your parents? I want you to take a moment, just either do a mental checklist as you go through each name and come up with 3 or 4 or 5 very specific, very unique things about each one of them. What about very close friends or extended family members? If you're a supervisor or a boss or a manager, if you're in some sort of leadership role, maybe you're a teacher, think about the people that are in your stewardship. What are their gifts? What are their talents? What are those unique characteristics? And when you speak to an individual, when you're encouraging them, here's what I want you to do. I want you to encourage them and be specific. Why you believe they're going to be successful. Why you think they're going to do well at something. And connect why you think they're going to do well at something to those God-given gifts. In other words, don't just tell them, hey, I really think you're going to get a 4.0 this year because you're just awesome and you're super smart. If you tell that to your kid, they might not receive it so well. But if you say, you know what, I really believe you got a shot at getting a 4.0 this year. And the reason I believe that is, number one, not only are you very, very intelligent, I know this because you pick up things very, very quickly, but I also know this, when you're focused on something, when something's important to you, you're willing to do the work. When something's important to you, you're able to focus on it and block out other distractions. I also know this, I know the teacher really likes you a lot, and the teacher likes you a lot and is willing to help you in the areas that you need help, because you always do such a good job of respecting the teacher in the classroom situation. And you've also got such a creative mind. You're so great at connecting the dots on things. And so if I'm giving that kind of feedback to my son or my daughter about why I believe in them, why I believe they're going to achieve a certain thing, and they know that, oh, okay, I do treat my teacher that way, or you know what, I do pay attention, or I do work hard at things that are important to me, it's hard for them to dismiss that compliment or the encouragement as just some sort of glad hand, like I'm just patting them on the back. The same is true of your spouse, or maybe you're in leadership in business and you're challenging somebody that's in your stewardship to go and achieve something. Well, instead of just saying, hey, I need you to handle this responsibility, and I really think I need you to get it done by this time, and I just know that you can do it, and I'm counting on you. Well, that's good, but what might be better is like, hey, we've got this project, and here's the deadline for it, and I'm counting on you to get it done. And I know it's a lot of work. I know it's going to be a big challenge, but here's why I believe that you can get it done. You are literally, as I look at the entire staff, you're the hardest working woman I've got. You're the most responsible. You always hit deadlines on time. You're always very, very conscientious. You do a great job of involving other people on the team around you. And I know this about you. You don't want to let me down, and you don't want to let the team down, and you know how important this is to the team, and you're so conscientious and so caring and so giving, and that's one of your greatest strengths, and that's one of the reasons I know you'll not only do well on this project, I know you'll do well in business with us. And so when you speak to very specific things, those things resonate with people. So even sometimes when they think, oh, I couldn't achieve this, or I couldn't accomplish that, or I wouldn't necessarily be any good at this thing or that thing, when you tie their future success to personality characteristics and traits about themselves that are God-given gifts and abilities, things they already know to be true about themselves, then it's real hard for them to deny it. It's real hard for them to just sort of brush that off as just a pat on the back, because they go, yeah, I am that way, and he's right, I do that, and I do care about people that way, and I am real conscientious. And as they acknowledge in their minds the things that you're saying about them, because they know that those things are true, they can't deny those things, and you've connected those things to your expectations of them, or to what you're challenging them to do, or what you're trying to help them see themselves doing, it begins to shape their identity, and it begins to shape their beliefs about themselves, and ultimately, I think, builds their self-esteem and their self-worth and their self-confidence. A little bit of a long message for you this morning, but one of the greatest gifts that I've ever received is when somebody that I looked up to and respected a great deal taught me that principle. And they not only taught me the principle in sort of in the way that I'm trying to share it with you today, but they taught it to me in practice, because they practiced that principle on me, if you will, over and over and over. And I can't begin to tell you the difference that it made in my own personal life, them pouring belief into me and really constantly reminding me of my gifts and my talents, because I just had a habit of always focusing on my negatives and my shortcomings and being overly self-critical of myself. And as much as some of those things I did need to work on, that was true. At the same time, I wasn't going to get much better if my self-esteem and my self-worth wasn't any better. And they really helped to bolster and undergird my self-esteem, my self-worth, and my self-confidence, because they believed in me so much, and they poured belief into me in a really, really positive way, and poured belief into me very specifically about gifts and talents that they suggested that I had, that deep down inside I knew they were right about those things. So even in my times of self-doubt and uncertainty, I would remind myself of why I was doing something, and why they believed that I could do it. And it kept coming back to those things that I knew to be true about myself. So it's my message for you today on Friday. I got to get into the office, and I've actually got an appointment with my coach this morning as well. I'm going to get some coaching and try and take my game to the next level. Hope you had a terrific week, and I look forward to seeing you again on Monday morning. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.